Good morning. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Tuesday morning? It is the day before the FOMC meeting, and we're going to see if we can't find a trade. Currently on Bitcoin, what we have is Bitcoin had smoked the low of day. This right here was your low of day, that little wick, and you can see here that we made a fresh low of day right there, and then got a slight bounce. So what we were watching just before the stream was this support level here. That was the intraday support that was formed after smashing through the low of day. And you can see right there, we closed under the level that we were watching, and that is our signal to A, don't entry, or B, if you've already taken the entry, to get out. Because you are likely to see continuation. Right here was that last 5-minute close. You can see there when this candle opened under the level, you tested the level, and then you got continuation to the downside. So you had all of about, a few minutes to exit that position as to not eat an entire full stop. All right, so basically the only reason we were looking for longs today is because of the outsized move we got yesterday. So let's go over here to the daily time frame real quick. This move right here penetrated down below a few of these old lows. However, the main low is still intact. If I bring this line over here, you can clearly see that the main low of this structure is still intact. What we were watching was the the CME, as this is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the futures contracts in America for Bitcoin. This was the low right there. When this day was put in, it did take out the overall low for the entirety of the structure. And then yesterday we had a fresh low, so a brand new low for the structure. And then you can clearly see that after it put in that low, you traded sideways for 4 hours and then got a bounce. So this bounce is likely to be sold into simply because you're in an overall downtrend. You've been bearish since November 2021. And, it's likely to continue. We did have a better CPI print, meaning that it is lower than last month's. However, it did not come in line of expectations. Expectations were 8.1%. We got 8.3%. And the market had an outsized sell-off. In fact, it's one of the biggest selling days that we have seen on the S&P 500 for quite some time. Where is my indicator? Well, I don't know where it is, but I'll have to look for it. But anyways, this move right here was a pretty big move to the downside since we started the bear market in November or January, I guess you could call, for the S&P 500. So the very beginning of the year, that's when the bear market started. We are 9 months into this bearish year. So a lot of people have lost interest in Bitcoin. You can see it on Twitter posts and YouTube views. Nobody's really interested in Bitcoin anymore. The only people that are interested in Bitcoin are your diehard traders like myself and all of you. So welcome, you degenerates. Welcome. All right. So anyways, let's get this show on the road. Bear with me one moment. All right. So S&P 500 getting downside continuation this morning or today. You can say there is daily plus weekly support, and we are currently trading under it. If you are going to see any kind of bullish continuation off of yesterday's move, you would expect it to be around this area, correct? Correct. All right, so here's your last intraday swing high. You are coming into that right now, treating this or testing this to see if it wants to be support. And if it does hold, that would be a decent spot to look for bullish continuation from the move that you seen yesterday. Just keep in mind that you are in an overall downtrend. You are in a bear market, and you're coming off of a pretty big down sell side move from last Tuesday. All right. We really haven't done anything since Tuesday. You can see that this section of hourly candles, that is a multiple days of price action. Then you had a move to the downside, then a lot more sideways price action. Yesterday making a fresh low and then immediately getting a bullish bounce. It was not an aggressive or monster bullish bounce. It was only 2.34%. That is a decent, it's like a decent move, like a normal daily move. So nothing spectacular. And that is really the only reason that you would be looking for bullish trades today, based off of what it did yesterday. Going back to the daily time frame, we do keep an eye on risk markets because Bitcoin is indeed traded as a risk asset. It was designed to be a hedge against inflation, but until you get, a lot more participants in this marketplace, it is going to be traded with risk as a risk on asset. It is a very risky asset. An asset that moves 5+% in the span of one day isn't something people like to invest a ton of money in, as you can lose it all, right? So it is a risk asset. It is the riskiest of asset classes, the Bitcoin. But you can see here, yesterday you did make in the close higher than the previous day. That is a bullish engulfing. Typically, bullish engulfings don't work as often in the backdrop of a bearish market or downtrend. You want to look for your bullish engulfing candles to happen at really decent levels, but in the backdrop of a bull market, those are your better signals. But we did get a bullish engulfing yesterday, and as of right now, as long as you don't take out yesterday's low, you could see that this could potentially today put in a higher low. So you could have a very near-term trend change. So that's the only reason why we're looking for bullish entries. All right. Right now you are at 2-hour support. Since we lost that initial intraday support, this is your swing high from yesterday. You are trading into that. So this would have been the better level to look for bullish entries at. But, I was assuming it would not occur. And if you fib this move, yesterday's low to high, you're not even at the 50% retracement of that move. So this is a shallow pullback of what appears to be a bullish expansion. If we lose this support level right there at $18,972, we will revert right back to our bearish selves. In fact, I do still have a sell position open on the USDC futures side of the Bitget platform. Bitget has the lowest fees out of every other exchange in the world. And if you want to be an intraday trader, then you should trade on an exchange that has the lowest fees. If you're going to be making multiple entries and exits per week, you want to do that on an exchange that has the less fees. They have no KYC, so you don't have to log in or give them your social or any of that. You can just simply use the exchange as an on and off ramp for buying and selling Bitcoin. I love it. If you want to use it, there is a link in the description. Use referral code XTSC. That is X-Ray Tango Sierra Charlie. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Currently, we're going to watch $19,080 as that is to our demand. You are getting a slight bounce from that level. It is a perfect test, right? So how are we trading this? Well, we're not yet anyways. We just opened a fresh hourly candle and we are breaking down from the earlier intraday support after making a fresh daily low. Now that you have a new daily low, that means here was the low, you made a new low, now you're making new lows again. That is bearish continuation, right? That is the exact definition of continuation. And we don't typically want to buy a market that is trending to the downside unless it stops trending to the downside. All right. So that's what we're looking at right now. Bitcoin is actually outperforming Ethereum, even though it is to the downside, right? It is still outperforming, meaning you're down 2.14% on Bitcoin, whereas Ethereum is only down 1.89%. You can see this taking place on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. If we go look real quick, I will show you that Ethereum is losing its dominance over Bitcoin, basically because you traded into weekly resistance, and then you had the downside move, and then this big down move right there came from the last bit of news we had on Ethereum, the merge, right? It wasn't really a news event. It was something that was already going to happen anyway, so you got a lot more downside. This move here from high to low is a 20% move to the downside. So that is why Bitcoin is currently outperforming. Now, a lot of people wouldn't call a negative market being outperforming, obviously, because it's down. But since we are day traders, we can short these assets. A 2% move to the downside is a very profitable trade. All right. But yeah, you can see that it is basically stalling out up there. This thing has been putting in higher highs, and that is typical to a distribution formation. But this distribution had been taking place over a very long time, and you did get a massive down move from it, and then you came right back up. So you can potentially hold support on this asset. But you have broken down below any bullish metric that we would use a while back, right? So now I won't short it down here, but if it does trade up into resistance, you could be looking to sell any Ethereum, or if you trade this asset on its own, you could be looking for potential entries there. But yeah, Bitcoin's breaking down. This was the low that I assumed would be the low. If we got trending lower CPI prints. So the last 2 months have been lower, right? You've gotten 2 lower prints. 2 points makes a line, but 3 points makes a trend. So September CPI next month will be a vitally important number. If you get a lower print than 8.3%, then you currently have a trending scenario where CPI is trending lower, and you would have to assume, or I would assume, that the markets will take that as a very bullish sign. And then we were looking to play that when we bought the July lows. But you have since, not been looking good for August or September. So the July that was the last month that you actually closed bullish in Bitcoin since March of 2022. So a lot of down closing monthly candles here. It's a bear market, right? And it's going to be a bear market until a low is cemented. Everybody was assuming that low is going to be cemented above last all-time high, but once you start getting above prices of $20,000, $30,000, like it's very difficult to maintain that posture. But here we go over here on Glassnode. You can see on the exchange net positions, we are finally getting a green tick. Now, this typically does not mean that the low is in, because you can clearly see over here on the last bout of consolidation that we had on Bitcoin, had a lot of buying going on then as well. A lot of accumulation occurring, and then you still got that capitulation move thanks to Luna and its founder being a complete jackass, not knowing how to run his own company. All right. So that's that. But I would like to see inflows continue on Bitcoin down here at these prices. You have already gotten multiple legs to the downside. We became sellers on this channel in November of 2021 based on the Fed's rumors that they were going to do a complete 180-degree pivot on their monetary policy. So, the bullish monetary policy that they had been running since the pandemic of March 2020 was coming to an end. And that's why we became bearish on Bitcoin. And we became bearish on Bitcoin at the highs. So you can imagine that's when you had peak speculation, peak mania, peak everything. So it was very unpopular, to say the least, to be bearish at $60,000. But we were. And we also sold the 2022 fresh yearly high right up there, meaning we have nailed this entire down move. So we are not sellers anymore. Okay? The reason for that is because you're at the 200 simple on the weekly time frame. You're at the 200 weekly here, right? Any time in Bitcoin's history, entire history, you wanted to stop being a seller around that time. All right, you can go back and see. We got to get log up here. There we go. So you can see every time you've ever been around or near or under the 200 simple, you didn't necessarily want it to be a seller anymore. Now, if you're in the camp that you assume this is going to happen right here, the '08 crash, then obviously you can be a seller because there was still plenty of opportunity to happen there. And this fractal is really crazily good as far as the way it looks compared to the market cycle that we currently have, as far as this last bounce right there. So if you were to view this fractal as what we're doing right now, you are currently around this area, right? But on the S&P 500, you're not under the 200 simple either. Keep that in mind as well. Whereas you were back in '08, you were under the 200 simple when you made that last move lower. And it took a long time to play out. The last time we did a Discord session live stream, we played this out. We played it back on bar replay to show everybody that even though you took out this low, you still got a bounce that lasted for a period of 6 weeks before you started to get that big down move. Then when this candle came in and made a fresh low, that's when the volatility really, really took off. All right. So let's go take a look at this over here with the volatility metric. You can see Bitcoin right now on the weekly time frame. Your Stokes is pinned to the bottom of oversold, and your volatility right there is at the lows. So it would be fantastic if Bitcoin could close a bullish week similar to what you did 2 weeks ago, with this white line getting under the volatility, but being a weekly time frame, it takes a lot of time for that to play out. So let me pull up the S&P 500, the real index, not the CFD. I just want to look at what volatility looked like before the drop. You can see the volatility was up at the highs over here, right? Up at the highs. This was the bear market low that we put in. Then you got that 50% retracement of the decline, and then price sold off. But you can see when that low was put in, volatility was at the highs, peaking out. And typically you want to see that measure slow down a bit. You are currently at the highs again still. So yeah, you got room to go to the downside on the S&P 500. This is not open yet, so we'll have to look at this one. Yeah, it doesn't look good. It does not look good. But Bitcoin, if you break down and close another weekly candle and volatility's at the lows here, I just can't see it continuing with this being oversold, and has been oversold for a long time. I mean, the Stokes, you can see that they've been oversold since May the 2nd. So I guess it can continue. I mean, it can stay oversold a lot longer than we can stay solvent. That's for sure. But we'll keep an eye on it. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is if volatility starts to expand and you're making lower weekly closes, you got to be on edge, right? You got to understand that this thing can go much lower. We thought the lows would be in if CPI started trending higher. It has been trending higher. And I mean, CPI has been trending lower, and so has Bitcoin's price. Not what we want to see. But yeah, I got Bitget exchange pulled up on the other window, so I can see that Bitcoin is continuing to make lower lows today. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. So yeah, it's trending lower. You're currently testing the level that we wanted to see it hold at, and you're just simply making lower lows. So there probably won't be a decent trade to take on Bitcoin. It could find a low around 9:30. We will stay live up until then. That is when the New York stock market opens, and that's when you get the last bit of volume for the day. So, it is possible that the daily range expansion continues lower, but we would definitely like to see it turn around, right? Let me get back over on the other chart because that is light, too light, and I wanted to make it darker here so we can basically see what's going on. Heath, I'm about 10 to 12 minutes behind regarding the nobody interested in Bitcoin comment. It's a beautiful thing to be holding around these levels and having low interest. Absolutely, because when interest comes flying back into this market, it'll be around highs, right? That's typically when retail starts to be a buyer on Bitcoin. Everybody and their brother is bearish right now. Everybody. I'm talking like most everybody. Not very many people out there are buyers on Bitcoin. But the fact of the matter is these are the levels where you want to be a buyer on an asset, right? You got to be greedy when everybody else is fearful. That just typically means, when the market's having a bloodbath, you got to find an area to be a buyer. This is a good metric to look at because you can clearly see the orange line is the oscillator. Any time that it has been in the undervalued region, it was time to switch your bearish bias and start to get a bullish bias, right? But everybody is afraid because inflation is up so high. But to be honest with you, the market hasn't really seen a massive sell-off just yet. You're just sitting around 20% levels, right? That's not terrible. Bitcoin is down almost 70-something%. But we know from cycle market theory that Bitcoin's bear markets can go as low as 84%. 84% will put you around the $13,800 level that we've been discussing and talking about since way before it was cool to do so, right? We were talking about it when we first started the bear market because it was the last major resistance level. But nobody assumed Bitcoin would ever get back down to those levels when it was trading at $40,000 and $50,000. This is the level of which I'm speaking of. You can clearly see that when this resistance was put in, you tested it in 2019 and you rejected, right? That wick shows a rejection from the $13,000 level, 13.8. It is monthly, quarterly, and yearly resistance, right? As soon as you tested it there, you got 6 months of down. So that's the last level or, the biggest level of potential support. Since you've broken out, you've not retested it. You did retest it on a daily basis, but it hasn't been tested on a larger time frame, like a monthly, for instance, or even a weekly. If you get a couple weeks trading down here, you can even close under it on a weekly, right? It's a monthly, quarterly, and yearly level. So those are the candle time frames you would need to see close under, at least a monthly, for you to say, yeah, it might be wanting to go lower. but I doubt it. I don't think it will, right? But we'll see what happens. I mean, the asset obviously only goes one direction, up, you know what I mean, until you get your bear market cycle. Then it trades down and sideways for a year and a half, 2 years. We know the halving's in 2024, March. So we got a lot of time to be a buyer, but you definitely want to be a buyer in an oversold market if you believe in the asset long term. Obviously, if you think Bitcoin's going to zero, then you don't want to be a buyer. You can be a seller. But I am not in that camp. I am in the camp that think that Bitcoin will one of these days be trading above 100 grand. So buying an asset at 13,000, if it's trading at 100 grand in a couple years, that's going to be very nice investment, very nice equity gainage there. So we love gains, right? We love to get those gains, and we need a legit support to do so. So essentially what I mean is if we take this low out, the low that we currently have that was put in June, we take out that low, there is a very good chance and a high probable chance that you'll see 13.8. You're already trading under the previous all-time high. But we got FOMC tomorrow, so I didn't expect that you would see a very big range as far as price action is concerned today. I kind of thought it would be, sideways and choppy. That is weekly and daily support. That is another reason why we were watching this support level right here, right? Because you were at daily and weekly support right there. And typically you want to find your intraday levels. If you're looking to be a day trader, you want those intraday levels to be closer to a higher time frame level, right? We don't just we're not taking our day trades at random areas. We are waiting for the higher probable areas. And we know from back-tested data, or I know from back-tested data, that your higher probable entries are at your daily opens and closes. All right? So that's how the strategy was designed. And basically using volume profile the right way, intraday was able to help me identify those higher probable areas. All right, so we are currently trending under the weekly plus daily support. So you can close back above this level, guys. All right, today, this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if Bitcoin's trading back above $19,291, then we could look for the potential next target to the upside being 19,626, based solely on price action, not giving two F's about the news tomorrow. If we could potentially nail the low of day, if it is even a bullish trade, right? It could still be a very bearish trade, but if it's going to be a bullish trade, I would much rather be able to position myself for the next day today, right? So, like, for instance, get long today and hopefully price trends away from your entry. Tomorrow you get the news and price is trading up in this area when the news comes out, and then you just get a big, nasty candle back to the outside, similar to what we seen last Tuesday, but back in the opposite direction, right? That seems to me what would be the most feasible scenario. We already know that the market is likely, or the Fed is likely to hike rates 75 basis points. And we can look at the countdown FOMC chart here, and it will show us the actual percentage of probability what the Fed's going to do. So while that's loading up, let's go back over here because it's taking its sweet little time thanks to my primitive internet service provider. I have really bad internet. All right. A-Y. Ed and Wes is having a dueling conversations, it appears. Good morning. Are we heading to 18,790? I don't know why 18,790 would be an interest. Oh, I guess here. Yeah, I don't know, right? I never know what price is going to do. That's not how you become successful in trading, is knowing what the market's going to do, because nobody knows what the market's going to do. Being successful at trading comes down to your risk management and taking high probable entries. They're high probable. That doesn't mean they always work. For instance, yesterday, I posted about a trade, CHZ, made it public. It didn't work. It did not work. They don't always work. I don't know what price will do, so it's impossible for anybody to know. But we were watching 12-hour resistance, and the post was simple. The post was simple. Potential short on whatever this is, cheese, cheddar, cheese, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. 12-hour resistance is also the 618 retracement of the downside expansion. Watch hourly close. A close above 12-hour resistance is a scrap. So we knew that it wasn't going to work right here, right there. So upon that closure, if you didn't get stopped out, obviously, you could have exited the position and not eaten a full stop. Right? But that was the level that we were watching. You can see that you're back down there now. This thing got really bullish chilies because of some NFL news. This had to do with something in the NFL. So that's why this has been extremely bullish for the last several weeks. You can see that it is also way outperforming Bitcoin, trading currently at 193% off the lows. Off the lows. So right now, if you just wanted to go buy a whole bunch of altcoins in anticipation that the lows are in, go find some of the ones that aren't up 500% already. Find some of them that are down still, or only up off the lows a couple percentage points. Because if the bull market does come back, or if you just get at least a relief rally that lasts for several months, you're still going to make a successful trade to the upside, right? Not saying buy all of them, just a couple of your favorites. Atom is one of my favorites, but unfortunately, I missed this move. You can clearly see it's up decent as well, being 163% off the lows. It would have been impossible to nail the low, but this day would have been a fantastic day to get long if I had been paying attention to it. Because that was a beautiful test of support. And it occurred in one day. You knew you were right instantly on that one. And it's just been trending to the upside. So, yeah, even though Bitcoin has been trending lower, this one has been trending up. Algo's up 7% on the day. Oh, Bitcoin is getting crushed on the lows, 2% down, and Algo is up 7%. Fantastic stuff. Crypto market is the most riskiest market to trade, but it's also the funnest. You can make a lot of money in this market. But you can see that you got a little bit of a mixed bag here today. Some assets are up, some assets are down. People is up almost 5%. Then you got XLM up 9%. XRP up 9% today. Big day on Stellar and big day on Ripple. Big day. After a big down day yesterday, you're right back up at yesterday's highs. So why is Bitcoin and Ethereum getting spanked? That's a good question. They're not actually getting spanked. They're just down a little bit, right? 2%. That's not bad. You are above yesterday's high. So, yesterday's low. As long as you're above yesterday's low, I can see it aiming for today's high. And you got a very small range day. Yesterday was a big, decent day, right? That was a nasty looking downside candle, but it closed bullish, and that's what matters. So that's the only reason why we're looking for bullish continuation. And currently, you're holding 2-hour demand. So let's see if it gets back down there. We can potentially look for long entries down here. We will see. Edom, greetings, boss. I'm not your boss. I am your friend. I'm just helping you learn to do this yourself. But greetings to you as well. I shorted Bitcoin during the London Open. Well, that was a fantastic move. This is your London Open right there. What a fantastic move. It made a fresh daily high and instant got reversed. So, I mean, if you just watch your previous day's highs and lows, you can find really good places to look for bullish and bearish entries because this market oscillates back and forth. It's just searching for liquidity. That is it. So when we do our liquidity break setups, we wait for the high to get ran. Then we take the short trade against market sentiment. And then if it is going to be that, you're going to get that move rather quickly. What? Pepe is in the house. But yeah, fantastic short. You're doing good. I mean, from there to there. Nice. All right. So, I mean, if I were you, I would take profits. This is the weekly and daily support. That's probably where I would have started to take profits. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's just the weekly. It's not daily. Oh, yeah, it is right there. This day. It's old support. That's probably where I would have taken profits. But you're almost made that the midpoint. So today could close bearish. It is definitely the right way. You're looking on the right side of the trade because it's been bearish for a long time. So you did great. Good stuff, man. You are learning. That's all you need to do. Learn, and then you can do it. Fellow DJs, what's up? What's up? What's up? I took a long on oil like a boss. Let's go look at oil. Oil was getting creamed yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, it was yesterday. It did the same thing. This is a big support level here on oil. Well, it's supposed to be up there. Yeah, it's just the old swing from a long time ago. Last year, October, November last year. Here's your opening range for the year. Oil is just trading just above it. So if you get under this yellow line, you're going to be bearish on the year for oil. So both of those moves have pretty much been completely retraced. And then gold looks bad as well. Go look at gold. Yeah, it's broken down from weekly support. It's an old weekly support over here from 2020. You broke down last week. You closed below it. This week you're having trouble getting anything going because of FOMC. Once FOMC happens tomorrow, this weekly range will be a big expansion, either up or down. Would be nice if you could put in a bullish engulfing weekly, take out last week's low and close above last week's high. That would be a decent bullish signal for gold. But it's struggling against the dollar. There's just there's no yield on gold, especially with rising interest rates. You stand better chance on getting yield on trading something like the USDJPY, for instance. The Japanese yen has negative interest rates. The dollar interest rates were getting hiked. We knew this trade was going to work when it broke out down here. This was when we were looking to trade Japanese yen USD or USD JPY. But once the interest rate started to get hiked, dollar all year has just been a rocket ship. So where is the yearly open? Here. So basically January 2022 started. USD JPY was the best trade based on interest rate hikes alone. So if you can find something that, has a 6% interest rate or something like that, that's going to be a better place to park your money than something like gold, in my opinion. The USD JPY trade is over with, more than likely. I can see it continuing higher just because people are trying to short it. See that? 71% of clients are net short USD JPY because it's going up. So people try to pick the top. You are struggling for the last couple weeks. So you made an obvious high, then you traded right back to it, but you did not get above it. So if you are going to short it, wait to see if it gets above that, liquidates the swing highs, and then instantly becomes bearish. That's the only way I would short it. Other than that, I would probably be looking to buy support. I hate buying something at the top of the range. And then let's go look at Euro while we're waiting for Bitcoin to do something. The Euro has broken down again below parity. But on the longer term, you do have a descending wedge. And these are typically looked at for bullish breakout potential. So if this asset does break out and become bullish, then that will go a long way in helping risk. You currently have a bearish engulfing today. So not looking that great. You're getting downside continuation from Tuesday, finally. But everybody in the community, everybody in the Trade Talk community basically knows what they're looking at. I mean, you don't get any better than that for a short entry. Yesterday is when you should have taken the short on Euro USD. And that was during the Asian session. Right there. Bing. And then you rejected. This was a trap. And you knew that it was a trap right there. So on this retest, you could have gotten short. But that's daily supply. So it might trade sideways for a while to down. If you break down out of the descending wedge, then you're looking for further downside continuation. And further downside continuation on the euro, unfortunately, will mean more dollar strength. And dollar strength is the risk-off asset this year. More people are in dollar for the safe haven than any other asset. The two assets that were typically looked at as safe haven, being the yen and the Swiss franc, were both annihilated. The dollar was literally the only thing going up when the Fed decided to completely 180 the monetary policy. What was I going to look for? Pepe, you screwed me up, dude. Hang on, let me go let him out. Otherwise, he'll be aggravating me all morning. All right. So, yeah. Let's get back over here on Bitcoin, Ethereum. Let's see what Ethereum's doing. Longer term, Ethereum's got some kind of channel going on here. I mean, it's could potentially be support. You also have a daily support level here. You did close under it 2 days ago, but right now you're testing it. Or you tried to test it. So this is that daily support level. Ethereum still has a decent support level. So we can potentially watch Ethereum for bullish entries instead of Bitcoin. Let's see if the selling is as bad, because right now there has been more sell volume than buy volume on Bitcoin. And on Ethereum, it's the same. 85.51 thousand Ethereums were sold already versus 74,000 being bought. So there is more selling pressure in the market today for this daily range. But yeah, good job on the long on oil. Wes, let's hope you get continuation. How is the slippage volume on Bitget? Says Andy. The slippage is good as long as you're trading an asset that has a lot of liquidity in it. Bitcoin, Ethereum, your bigger cryptos have a lot more liquidity in them. Therefore, you have more liquidity providers. You won't experience bad slippage. But if you trade something that has low liquidity, very thin liquidity, like Luna 2, for instance, you're going to get tons of slippage. I traded Luna 2 one day, and literally I got filled in 20 different places. So it just depends on the asset. Depends on the asset. But with Bitcoin and Ethereum, I haven't seen any slippage at all. Both going in with limits and market orders. No slippage. So just try to stay on the thickly traded assets, and you will be just fine, Andy. Good morning, Drew. When do you become Bitcoin buyer again? I am a buyer now, Patrick. I am looking to buy the lows. I can be a buyer and a seller for intraday trades, right? That bias can shift on a daily basis. Today I can be a buyer, tomorrow I can be a seller. But as far as my long-term HODL portfolio, I am a buyer now. And I am a buyer all the way to 13.8. I will continue to be a buyer. We were sellers at the top of the market. We're buyers at the bottom. I've been a fan of looking at the 1.618 fib level on Bitcoin when 1 equals last cycle high, 0 equals last cycle low. Shows extremely healthy growth. Nice. I have to give that a look, Drew. Canada inflation. Yeah, let's go look. I was supposed to keep that on watch today. Yeah, you went lower. That's good. I don't know why it's a miss. Your core inflation was lower. 6.1% was the previous month. 5.8%. That's good. I don't know why they're calling this a miss. It is read as if though it was a miss. You were forecasting to be lower, and you beat expectations by 0.3%. I don't understand why they're saying that's a miss. Let's go look at USD CAD. Yeah, beautiful. That's bad. That means the CAD or Canadian dollars taking it as a miss. Yeah, Canadian dollar didn't like the news. The loonie. Why is it? It didn't like it, even though inflation is lower, it appears. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. But you definitely want lower inflation, not higher inflation. So you got the news and then the market's reaction to the news. So it typically doesn't matter. This asset has been doing pretty decently as far as trading up. The last several days you've been suffering a pullback, but that's all it is. You are trading right at the 21 exponential moving average and above the 50 on the RSI. So if I put the 21, you're going to see it. It's probably going to be under these 3 candles. Yeah, it is. It's right there. So this is a decent spot to look for pullback potential. Watch daily support on CAD Yen. Be a buyer there as long as it holds. Okay? It's got to hold. If you start closing hourlies, or since you're looking for daily support, watch the 4-hour candles, right? If you start closing 4-hour candles back under your daily support level, it's going to look like it wants to see more downside continuation. Excuse me. You can see 4-hour support is currently right under daily support. This is a weak pullback, if anything. It's not, they're not like massively selling it. Decent to watch for potential buying opportunities on CAD Yen. It is still currently structured bullish. And with that inflation news, it's not really an outsized move either. Not as big as you would think it would be. A 0.3%. That's not a big move. If you were setting at 1 or 1.5% to the downside, that would be a big outsized move. This is not a big move. This is just, that's almost, you could see that in normal trading. Right there was an hourly candle to the upside. It's about the same size as this. So watch for daily support on CAD Yen for potential buying opportunities. And daily support comes in at 107.774 on the O and exchange. Good morning, Mr. Tom. He thought about 10 to 12. Oh, I read that earlier. Sweet. Next bull market will be epic. Yes, it should be. Absolutely. I can't wait. Would you ever hold a long-term leveraged position? Yeah, if I'm on the right side of the market. Yeah, absolutely. I will hold it as long as the market trends in my direction. Some of the best trades I've ever made, a pound yen long, I nailed almost the entire move to the upside, and that was absolutely levered up. And all the short trades and long trades I take on Bitcoin are always levered up. Down here, I bought support down in here, levered up. We got a big bullish rip for the next 2 days. Obviously, I took profits and shed some of that risk, moved my stop to break even, but then you can see what happened after. Once you're in a good trending position like that, you don't have to do anything. You just keep up and waking up the next day and seeing your portfolio grow. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I can sit in a long-term levered up position. It's if you catch a trend or not. See, over in here, it was a lot more difficult to catch a trend because it hasn't been trending. It's literally been trading sideways. This is because the pound has been weak along with the Japanese yen. So there's pound dollar. Beautiful, beautiful move lower. We were all over this as well. We were basically watching the quarterly candles unable to close above your descending trend line. And now look at that baby. You got fresh all-time lows, which according to this chart, right? Data only goes back to there. You might be able to find data on Bloomberg terminals or something that has data beyond that, right? Because FX actually started in the 90s. So there's data should be going back as far as 97 on some platform. But on this data feed, you've made fresh all-time lows. So, yeah, it's been getting pummeled. So with that and the fact that you got yen weakness as well, makes pound yen a very choppy trade. But when it does start trending, it is one of the better trending assets because it moves, right? It's one of the biggest movers in FX, pound yen. So if you were to keep that yen weak or pound weakness and the yen was to strengthen up, you would break down below this trending or this trend line here. And then you could potentially look for shorts. As long as you're, with my strategy, as long as you're closing dailies under the 50, you can look for shorts. That means the bears are in control of the asset. You wait for swing highs though, right? You wait for buying impulses to take place, and then you watch for a level to nail that short. But right now it's struggling with trying to not be a sell, but it didn't get any kind of downside continuation. So just, it's been chopping up for a long time, but not quite long enough. We've seen like USD JPY is a perfect example of how long an asset can be choppy over here, right? I mean, look at this RSI just fluctuating above and under the 50. It's disgusting price action. And then it did start to trend slightly to the downside here, but with no haste, right? Just little bits of moves here and there, but really choppy, chopping from around 108 to what, 103. But once you broke out, man, of this down a descending trend line, once you broke out of this, it was see you later. It was see you later. Once you broke out, boom. And then here we are. One of the best trades of the decade was pound or USD JPY, and that was based solely on interest rates. Just looking at what interest rates are doing was one of the best trades that I missed. So, but yeah, we can definitely catch trades with leverage and catch a trending trade. Those are the trades that are going to basically make your entire year. I didn't have to trade no more after that pound yen trade for that whole year, and I would have been in fantastic shape. But obviously I did. You are my hero, but I am in. Sweet. Disagreement with you that we have seen the bottom on Bitcoin, S&P. Yeah, you can disagree, my friend. I mean, Bitcoin's almost about to take out that low. And on the CME, you already have made a fresh yearly low. Right? But I'm a buyer here all the way to 13.8 for sure. And as far as you saying that it is going to go lower, you don't know that, right? You can assume that it is going to go lower, but you can't say with any certainty at all that it is going to happen indefinitely, for sure. As if you knew that, then you could literally sell your house, get an asset, or get on Bitget and short Bitcoin with 125x leverage because you know for a fact it's going to go lower, right? That's what I would suggest you do. If you know for a fact it's going to go lower, short that bitch with 125x leverage with as much money as you possibly can. Obviously, you will lose that money, but it is what it is. Obviously, I don't know if this low is in, if the low is in. But I know in history, and since I've been trading, it is best to buy an asset that trends from left to right in the ascending direction to be a buyer at and around the 200 simple. It's just from, experience. You're getting close to the lows. If the low isn't in, it's close. 13.8, for instance. Maybe that is going to be the bear market low. And that's fine. I'll be a buyer there as well. But absolutely, disagreement is good in trading, especially, right? That's what makes the market possible. Is you think it's a sell, I think it's a buy. That puts us that gives us great opportunity inside of these markets. Have you looked at ETH BTC? Yeah, we looked at it earlier today. You're down 20% from weekly resistance. We called weekly resistance when we were trading in it, right? When we were trading in weekly resistance, we said, here is weekly resistance. If you can't close above it, look for downside. And there is your downside, down 20% from weekly resistance. And the merge absolutely helped it along, for sure. It was a buy the rumor, then sell the news. But that's why ETH was up so much better from the lows than Bitcoin, because of this. It was just stronger. It was leading Bitcoin. You're still up a good amount from the lows. I mean, you got as high as 130%, and right now you're still trading at roughly about 53% off the lows, which is stunning, much better than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up from the lows 8%. So yeah, Ethereum has been the better trade since June. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Isn't Bitcoin USD technically a bullish shooting star? I don't know. I'm not a pattern trader. I only focus on daily ranges. Is that what you're calling a shooting star? The big wick down? What it is it's a liquidation candle. It's a liquidation break, right? You start the day out heading lower. You smoke a low, and then that's where the buyers step in. Or when the sellers close positions, right? So the fact that you're getting another move lower today would be suggestive that that's what happened. People that sold up here like I did, right? I nailed this trade to perfection. I sold the top tick. Be taking profits down here because it's a low. That's where the liquidations are. So anybody that got long here or any one of these days, their stops are trailed up right above, below that low more than likely. Yesterday, you get that push and push and push. You liquidate those people, instant reversal. That's where people took profits, right there. Boom. All right, close on the short position down, then you get this kind of a bounce, right? This does not mean that people are buying it. It could simply have just been positions closing, new positions entering. So you could completely see further downside as new positions are being entered. But you are at intraday support. If we lose this region, then I will stop looking for buys until we set in daily support. Current daily support is all the way up here. That looks bad. If you close under 19.4, tomorrow I'll be looking at 19.544 for selling opportunities. Right? That's how it works. That's how I work anyways. Would you ever... Okay. Well, what happened? I thought I already answered that. Yeah, I did. All right. Could you talk... Wait a minute. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess you could say that. I don't know that it's going to be bullish from here. A close back above 19, a close back above this would be good. As far as I'm concerned, a close back above weekly support would be good. And that's weekly support. So if we get back above that, I'll be okay with it. Under it, I like it lower. Hi, Mr. Pepe, says Oliver. Yeah, he likes to let me know what's going on. What exchange do I use for Forex? I like Oanda. They have pretty tight, cheap spreads. And if you want to trade like They have two different fee structures. You can trade using fees where they charge you in and charge you out, or you can get a spread account where you don't get charged any fees at all, but your spread, the entries will be lower or higher than current price, and that's based on the spread. I use the spread account. I don't need the other account. The other account would be good if you were like, if you were a tick trader, like if you were only looking to enter and then as soon as price gets away from your entry, a couple of ticks, you exit the position, like a fast scalping, then you would want the fee account. But if you're looking for like how I trade, looking to set in a winning position for multiple hours to days even, then a spread account is what you want. And Oanda has the best. In the US, the best is actually IG as far as competitive fees on the spread. But Oanda's is rather cheap. They're my main brokerage or exchange. Do you also like oil or indices? I don't trade oil. If I do, I'll do it using options. But I rarely trade it. SMA or EMA, I use them both. I use the 21 EMA to determine whether or not the near-term trend is up or down. And then for the long term, I use the 200 SMA and EMA. I use them both. But the only SMA that I look at is the 200. I don't look at like any other number lower than 200. I'm using the EMAs. Owned. I don't know what that means. Are you not concerned about the price of oil going back up this winter and inflation continuing to go higher? Not really. As long as CPI is trending lower, then I'm not, right? If inflation starts to trend higher after all of these rate hikes, then I will start to get concerned. Absolutely. And then you can look for lower prices, right? The bear market probably won't be over if that were to play out like that. And let's be clear, 8.3% inflation is still very, very high when they have a targeted rate of 2%, right? But trending lower is much better than trending higher. Because if it's trending higher, then that means everything the Fed has done up until this point has not yet taken effect. And that could be very bad. Because even after all these rate hikes, if inflation starts to trend higher, then that could be very bad. So yeah, I'll short everything. Bitcoin's going down now. Yeah, it is. It's at 2 hour support. The last 5 minutes, you got another push lower. So, hence why I said when we made this low, I would be bullish as long as that low stays intact. If we make a lower low, then you are trending lower, and trying to buy that is not smart, because that means you're going to see further downside continuation for the rest of the day, more than likely. I mean, it's possible to find a low in the middle of the day, but the levels of which I was looking to be a buyer have ceased to exist. Ethereum is breaking down as well. Risk is breaking down as well. So it looks like yesterday's bullish move was just a bounce after taking out the low. You're still not bad though, right? Because you could fib yesterday's range. You're just now coming into an area where buyers can and possibly will step up. We got another 7 minutes for the market open, and we'll see what happens then. Fib yesterday's range on Bitcoin as well. You're just now into the 50% retracement. So buyers can step up here. What do we got? We got the 50% retracement of yesterday's range. Comes right in line perfectly. This is the 50. Let's mark it yellow. We'll mark the 618 green. So yellow is right there. You can see 2-hour support comes in line right there as well. If we start getting back above this, you could potentially throw a stop under the low of day, expecting this to be a pullback only. Down in here, you look a lot worse, right? That's why I'm saying if we lose this support, then I'm probably not going to be looking for longs. I'll probably be looking to sell resistance tomorrow because I can't take a sell trade today. You're at the low of day. You can't take a sell trade at the low of day. You can, but you're not going to make money doing that very often. Trying to sell the lows. I'm looking at hourly support from 7 a.m. yesterday. Here, that's going to be the 702 retracement. It could get down there. I don't think I would like it, but it could get down there. Taking profit now, I can't thank you enough. Hey, that's what I'm here for. I can't sit in winning positions, only in losing ones. That makes sense. Any AMD entries? I don't know. Let's go look. Probably not if risk is getting killed. So we bounced from this area the last week. That's the area we were watching. There was a decent long trade there last week, but it doesn't look like it is today. I mean, the more times you test the level of support tells me that it's likely to break. To be honest with you, broski, you could probably be looking to sell 76, 77. I wouldn't short it down here because you can't short into support. But the fact that you've tested it already 1, 2, 3 times, you haven't went anywhere for the last 4 days. You've went nowhere. This is your range for the last 4 days. And you're right smack dab in the middle of it. So, 75.29, I don't know if I would buy it. I'd probably leave it alone. AMD's a great company. I love them. I own them. But, you're into a massive support zone. This is a massive support. Massive support. Right. Support. Bunches and bunches of support levels. It's a very big zone. If you lose this zone, you are probably going to see a big rip all the way down to 56.90-ish. That's your last resistance before the breakout. 56.60. If you lose 75.29, 56.60 is the next place for potential support. Right? We'll see what it does at the open. Is the live stream almost over? Because I really want to eat 2 pounds of bacon. Go eat. Voice. Don't know what that means. DXY backing out of resistance. I take your word for it. Double bottom is meant to be broken. Ref Tony Vase. Tone Vase. I don't know if he's... I don't know if you call him a trader or what. You know what I mean? I don't watch him, so... I know he was big a few years ago. Is he still big? A lot of your influencers of old are the ones that started to get in this early, have big followings. They're not traders. They make their money elsewhere by shilling links and stuff like that. Most of them don't risk money in the financial markets. I'd say some of them probably own Bitcoin and a few alts, but they're not day traders. Yeah, so pound dollar crushed, euro dollar crushed. Downside continuation. You're almost into this last bit of support here on the euro. It could bounce. I mean, this is a range. We got FOMC tomorrow. So as long as Bitcoin is trading, like I said, above this support, I'll like it. I won't be looking to buy it down here. And the bigger this downside candle gets, the worse it looks, right? If you make this the midpoint of this move, I am not going to be a buyer. It is more than likely coming back down to the lows. And that short trade that I took, essentially with a $200 account, that account is at 538. So that short trade is still working good. Especially now that it's breaking down. It's not, my normal size trades, but there's no point in closing it, not when it's doing good. And I've already taken $280 of realized P&L off of that trade. And there's currently still $130 on it. So there was the short entry, the blue dotted line. You can see down here the realized P&L was 280, spot 47. This was a $200 account, so that's better than a 100% gain on the account. The equity is 539. I trailed my stop loss down here. This is the high of, 3 days ago? Let me see here. It's been longer than that. So 25.66, it's above this daily high right there. Because if you get back above that, your next area is going to be 21.830. So that's where the stop is trailed to, 25.99. And it's going lower. So it was a decent short entry. And this is a levered trade, right? As long as it's trending under 20,599, it can go as low as it wants to go. And I've already taken multiple profits off of the trade twice. So I have no there's no way I can lose money on this trade. Now, I can lose this $130 of unrealized P&L. I won't lose it all. I'll lose half of it. Maybe half, maybe a little bit less than half. But yeah, that's a levered up trade. Doubled the account, more than doubled the account. One position. That's with 50x leverage. Well, I don't know if that's what I took it with. I could have, right there, short 50x. BTC perf. Oh, man. Don't use 50x leverage. This was, like I said, it was $200, right? I didn't care to lose that entire account. $200 is nothing. But, yeah. Oh, that's right there. That's where that entry is. 22,738. Right here, where my cursor is. It's a pretty decent entry on a short position. And that was based on a liquidation break trade. That's what I took it on. Simply because we had already liquidated the day's high twice, 3 times. There was no more liquidity to get up there, hence the short position. But if you were going to see bullish continuation, it would have gotten stopped out. I took it right as the news was at 8:30. I think I took the entry at like 8:29 and 58 seconds. Good morning, Heath. I recommend using Super Trend to determine a trend direction. It's better than the 21 in my opinion. I've been doing this so long, Danny, I don't even need the 21. I know where the 21 is before I even look at it. Right? It's just, I've been doing it for so long. So I already know, basically, just by looking at the chart, where it is, what it is, right? And in a choppy environment, it is decent to identify trending direction or a directional bias for your trade entries. It's much better when the market is trending, for sure. And I do not care if it's trending up or down. When it's trending, I make money, right? I can make money in a sideways, choppy environment as well. It's just a lot easier when the market's trending. Like this entry, for instance. I do not have to do anything with that position ever again if Bitcoin never comes back up to $22,000, right? I can leave that short position on for life, which I won't. The fees will kill it, obviously. When the longer it goes sideways, the funding rates, when it's against you, it will absolutely crucify your profits over a long period. So if the market isn't trending, it's best to close the position after you've made money. But if it does start to trend, you catch that, it'll be great. Okay. But I'll look at it. What's it called again? The Super Trend Plus. Is that in indicators? I don't see a plus. Is it one of them? So many indicators. Wheat long. Let's go look. I don't know if you want the cash CFD. Yeah, potentially. I mean, I don't know why this line is here. It should be there. Yeah, yesterday you tested that weekly resistance level to perfection, and you did bounce. I wouldn't take the long now because you're into resistance on the daily, but you can watch down here for any pullbacks into that area. I don't think I would get long instantly, because as long as you're below yesterday's open, that would be a decent spot for potential short entries there, right? So 842.59 is an area where sellers will be kicking back in. So I do not think that I would buy it here. But down here, as long as it's holding as support, is a decent spot. You do have a current, not really, you broke down. So yeah, today will be this will be a selling opportunity. 842.59. And the moving average is underpriced, though. There it is. So this is probably going to be a selling opportunity on wheat. We'll watch 842.59. Let me drop this and this so that way I can go back and check it. But there, and I wouldn't want to see hourly closes above that either. Big move here. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a selling opportunity. Oof. So many stops. You can see how people were shorting this boom. But up here is where the entry would be for shorts, not down here, up here. Okay? Use daily levels for your entries and exits, guys. You can use hourly levels that are close to daily levels as resistance and support. Get on the side of the trend. So your near-term trend is up. Long-term trend is down. But if you're day trading, you don't care about all this shit over here. You only care about this. Right here. That's it. That's all the data you need to worry about. You can delete all of this. Pretend it's not even there. Don't even worry about it. What does this tell you? To me, it says we're a little bit sideways, but aiming more to the downside. This is support. You broke it yesterday to the downside. Notice your resistance level. You broke it to the upside, then instant rejection the very next day. This is a bull trap. Okay? Then what happened? Well, as soon as it got into supply, so this was your trap. You come down, tested support, got the bounce. Up you go. Into supply. What happens next? Boom. Down. Close. This push up into this will be looked at as a selling opportunity. You see what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense, what I'm trying to teach you. It's as simple as that. You don't need any indicator. I automatically know when price gets to 842.59, I take that as a short. I throw my stop somewhere up in there. I aim for this support level down here. Will it work? I don't know. But that is a high probable entry, a high probable scenario based solely on what order flow's been doing the last couple of days. I mean, it tells itself. It's a story, right? Just by looking at this price action, I can tell you what happened. Traders. I'm a trader. This is what we do, right? You are bullish into a bullish trend here, going higher. There's the breakout, sets in a new resistance level. Then you get a small pullback day, which is normal. Here is the breakout, and the breakout was immediately sold into. So this pullback into supply was your sell. Right there. That was your sell side entry. And that's what it looks like intraday. Right here. Sping. That's where you got short. Take profits at support. Right there. So on this push lower, you'd be taking profits, moving your stop to break even. And if this continues, you're going to get stopped out. Right? And it could happen because trends change. Near-term trends change based on news. I mean, there's a million different reasons why you don't get downside continuation. But you are looking to trade this for downside continuation, not bullish continuation. But as long as the 21 is underpriced, that's the only thing that gives you that slight, maybe it is bullish. But the reason that 21 is down there is probably, well, not the reason 21 is down there, but the reason you're getting a big bullish day today is probably because the 21 is under price right here. Okay? As algos and bots are set to just buy daily 21 tests. That's why the algo, or that's why the moving averages sometimes work, because bots are programmed to take positions based on where this thing is. So a lot of people are buying it, but this is going to be a selling opportunity at 842.59. Even though, like I said, that's there. But if you want to buy it, that's where you're looking to be a buyer. 813.76. There is no long trade to take today on this, in my opinion. Overall, do you think we're going to see a bearish day today on Bitcoin and a short is better? Overall, I think the short has already happened. Like, it's too late for a short on Bitcoin. Right? You're at the low of day. Yeah, you're trending lower, but I mean, there is no short trade to take here. You've made this a midpoint. So this is not a long. You see that? You're almost the midpoint range of this candle. That's a legit breakdown. A legit breakdown. No, you don't want to take a short here. Where are you going to put your stop? Where would your stop go if you were trying to short this asset right now, right here, right now? Where are you putting your stop? Just any random place? So your trade would look like this. Where the hell is it? Son of a biscuit. Right there it is. I'm looking right at it like an idiot. So you're going to short it here. Where are you going to put your stop? You would have to put your stop up above that bullish candle, at least, because that's resistance. I mean, that's skewed. That's negative. That's the wrong way to trade. Your stop loss is much bigger than your take profit. This is weekly support. No, this is weekly support. I get confused. What's this line down here? Oh, it's just that bullish week's low, but you've already taken that out. You've already taken that out. You took that out over here. No, I mean, it's not a short. You can't short a market that's already moved lower. You're coming into an area where buyers are going to start buying it. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I mean, you just made a fresh low of day. There's no buy volume going on here. It's all sell volume. Look at that. It's all selling. People are selling the lows. You can see when retails, they just do the wrong thing all the time. Look at that. There's no bids there. Very few. It's got to be a glitch in the matrix. There has to be buying going on down here. This is 618 test of yesterday's range. So this would be a legit pullback, but you'd be looking for something. You're looking for this. Right? Expansion, impulse to the upside, correction, expansion. But when is that wrong? When is that not good? So the support level that someone had mentioned in the live chat was the level to watch. There it is. But I don't like it because you've taken out this main swing low here. This should act as support. And it still could, but that would be the place to be a buyer. I don't know that the buy trade will work. Obviously, your momentum is down. And look where your point of control is. Up near the top end of the daily range. This was the selling opportunity. All of this area here. But when this was the low of day, this box was all the way up here. It made it a little bit more difficult to take that position, right? Because down here now with this, it kind of looks like people are buying support, right? And then you just wait for the next candle. This is when we formed support. That's why I was watching this. Plus, this is that weekly support level. I see the point of control happening right at weekly support. We have an intraday support level. So upon losing this close, with a lower close means I don't like it anymore for bullish entries. Right here. We got it. Right. This candle closed under. So that told us we're not looking for longs. Next level of potential support was here. But you traded way under it. So I don't know that it is a buy today. It looked like it was going to be, but now it looks like it may not be. But I definitely would not be looking to take a short down here. Up here was the short. Right? Up here, that's your short entry, your opportunity for a short trade. You sell the swing highs. If you're looking to be a seller, you're not selling the swing lows. That's the exact opposite of what you should be doing. And since the trend is obviously down, order flow is obviously bearish, being a buyer in that environment isn't smart. It isn't. I mean, these boxes are your daily ranges. You're making lower lows and lower highs. Lower low. This was the only day when that changed. You made a higher low and a higher high, but the very next day you took out this low and you got continuation. Big stop runs here. Everybody was buying this, looking for this to go up, right? And as soon as you took out this low, everything changed. Everything changed. You were on the wrong side of the market. Oh, you took it out, boom, there's you close under for the first time. 3 hours later, you're up right there. Boom. Down. Low of day. Order flow's bearish. So if you're looking to be a seller, you're looking to be a seller at supply, for instance. Here would be a good spot to look to be a seller. Any one of those would have been fantastic places for entries. And that happened last night. But down here is not time to be a seller. I know that you guys just want to be in a trade. I understand that, right? Everybody wants to make money all the time. But you have to approach this like a professional. You are trading against the smartest, most brilliant, and richest people in the world. The most powerful people in the world. That is your competition. So tighten up. Time to tighten up. You're not looking to sell daily lows. Ever. Never. You look to sell swing highs in an overall downtrend, my friend. Yeah. There's just no trade, right? When this happens, support didn't hold. We were looking for bullish entries, looking for the range expansion to happen to the upside at support. It didn't. That means we wait till tomorrow. That's it. That's how this works. That's how you reach consistency. That's how you reach profitability. You have to know when there is a trade, when there isn't. Now, since your level was broken to the downside, there isn't a trade to take. Is it possible? But this low holds, and then 4 hours from now, we're trading back up here. Yes, it is, but there's no way that I can know that will happen, and there is no level for me to guide my decision on, right? There is literally nothing down here. There's an old daily support there, so maybe there. That's why you were looking at this section of price. See, that's better. I didn't know that was there. Maybe this holds. Maybe this is a long from here. But it's risky as order flow is bearish. Once you lose this, it's over with. There's nothing. This is the lowest closing daily candle in this entire range. If you lose this with a closing candle, prices are going lower. This is your last line in the sand. And then on the weekly, that's it. Here. On the monthly, it's higher. See? Price is trending away from your support. Monthly, weekly, the very last daily. If it doesn't hold here, we're going to be looking for lower prices. But that doesn't mean that we can instantly sell it tomorrow either. We have to wait for a sell setup. Sometimes you don't get it. Sometimes when you break a level that you have of interest, sometimes you just go for next 5 days. Here, like if you were looking to be a buyer at support, this day broke down, so that screwed you up right here. But then as soon as you got above that high, you knew it was a trap, but it's too late. You can't buy this, right? Because this could potentially be the top. You have to wait for a pullback. You didn't get one. So for the next 3 days, she just trends up higher and higher and higher and higher. I did end up getting long here, right? You got a chance there, but that's still getting long kind of into resistance. We were above it, to be fair, but you know what I mean? It didn't go much further, and then we got the news, and we're slammed right back down to the bottom end of the range. It just looks bad. It looks like it wants lower prices. And sometimes you got to sit on your hands. If your trade doesn't play out, like my trade didn't play out this morning, so now, more than likely, I'll look at some alts, you know what I mean? I'll look at some stocks. I'll see if I can find the setup. But after 10:30, I'm done. There's nothing for me in the markets, as the setup has more than likely already occurred. You don't have any big runners either. 42% is the biggest stock on the day. That's nothing for penny stocks. I know some traders, they don't even get excited on their low cap Momo stocks unless it's above 80%. All right. There's just not a whole lot going on today in the markets. This, let's see here if we got anything. You're above resistance. That is too big to be considered supply. Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot going on with this. You're above the level to short. So it's kind of like in no man's land. People will probably be trying to buy this. No, they're selling it. 52,000 shares to the sell side. There's not much liquidity in this. Versus 39,400 or 39,000 bid. They're selling the top of the daily range. This is your current daily range. You see how the point of control is near the top? They're selling it. Now, if this breaks out and starts closing higher candles, then there's a potential you could get up to 396. But that's another spot where sellers are going to be right back in there. They're going to be right back in there, right here. So if this holds as resistance, this will probably roll over. I don't know if there's any shares to short. I don't know if you can get borrows on this or not. And shorting penny stocks that are up big, it's not smart. Because these things will rip your face off, man. I've seen these things go up 1,000% in a day. 400, 500, 600%. Just gone. No liquidity in it at all. Something happened. There's got to be news on this to bring in people. Let me see if TradingView knows. I don't even know where my news thing is. It's up here somewhere, ain't it? News. Headlines for VRAX. Sector update healthcare 36 minutes ago. Stock declines pre-market Tuesday 1 hour ago. Sector update. Yeah, that's not the news. 2 hours ago, Biolabs distributes monkeypox virus antigen rapid test kit. That's why it's bullish today. Right? That's why it's bullish. But it's likely going to get killed. That's a pre-market move to the upside. Yeah, it only goes one way, and that's down. So obviously, I'd be a seller more than a buyer on this, unless it gets above 396. If it gets above 396, you got a lot of room to go more to the upside. But currently, since the market opened, the sellers are hitting it. They're hammering it right now. Sellers are hammering this asset. Ford is down 10% on the day. Jesus. Look at that. Man. People are trying to buy it. Why? Why are they buying it there? That's why. Boom, it just changed up to there. On the 5-minute time frame, point of control is down here. On the daily time frame, point of control is it's right there. But it just moved up to there a second ago. Yeah, I wouldn't be a buyer there. I can only buy at support. There is no support. Support is all the way down here. Right there. That's going to be potential demand, but support's 1242. Yeah, I don't know why Ford's getting killed, but it is getting killed today. It's down 12%. That was a nice breakout there. Damn, this one gapped up to 1491 yesterday, and by the close, it was back down to $5. And they're selling it again today. There's no levels. None. There's nothing here. I wouldn't trade this one at all because there's nothing for me to go on other than yesterday's point of control, and that's literally nothing to me. Literally nothing. But this one I could trade. This one you could watch, right? Start closing above this, then leave it alone until you get to there. And then let price show you if it's stalling out here or not, right? And if it is, and you can get shares, short it. 1,000 shares of this will, 96 to 45. That's a lot of money from here to there on 1,000 shares. Decent paycheck for the day's work. That's up pretty big too. Yeah, that's all-time highs. That looks like a buyout, though. This looks like a buyout. Last time you had news on this was May 26th. This is probably a buyout. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, there's just not a trade to take on Bitcoin. You're down 3% now. That is how it is, man. Sometimes there's just no trade. There is, and it just doesn't work. That's what we were watching right there, and it just dropped. So, yeah, I was wrong on the intraday bias. USD CAD still not really moving anywhere on the bad news, but you're breaking down below support. So wait for it to close down in here and then look to re-engage it at 107.758. Euro USD's got to find support somewhere. You got daily support right there. For this to kind of go up. But being back down here doesn't look good. Yeah, I'd love for this to find support and start trading, even break out of this descending wedge. That would be good for risk, more than likely. Well, it would at least loosen the dollar up a little bit, which could help risk. But not a whole lot to do for Bitcoin. Ethereum is now starting to get that move lower. Ethereum's that's daily support. Watch 113 or 1334 on Ethereum. That's daily support. If you can't close hourlies under it, maybe this is the trade, not Bitcoin. Maybe buy this one. Daily support is a much better level than an intraday support. So we'll keep Ethereum on watch for the people in the Discord. Today, we'll see if we can get it back down here. I want to see it hold here again. And we could potentially get long. Low a day would be the stop. But I do want to see volume coming in at that price. You see how you're out of the value region? The highlighted portion is considered value. So you're currently under value. So, if it could push back down here and hold, we may be looking to get long Ethereum. If it rolls over here and breaks down, we don't want to buy it. Because the downside isn't done. And we'll pretty much wrap it up there, since there's not a whole lot going on this morning. What's the SPY? Down 1.4%. So here's the open on the day on the SPY. They're buying it, though. Big spike in volume here. The sell side is still outweighed. No levels. The previous day's open is all you got. That's it. That's a pretty big decline from where you closed yesterday. You closed up here. That was a nice day yesterday. You're trading way under the retracement of this. I mean, way under. Yeah. It needs to start to spike now. I just don't like nothing today. Nothing's really nothing's giving us an automatic easy entry like Euro Yen did the other morning. I mean, that was as clear as day. What a beautiful trade it was. It was giving away free money. That's the trades I like. You know what I mean? When you can look at it and be like, oh, yeah, this is a buy. Or this is a short. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Gold is breaking down. We looked at it earlier. We'll go look at it real quick and then we'll wrap it up. It's breaking down because the dollar's ripping. Well, it's not ripping, but it's going up, right? You're up into resistance. This is daily resistance. right there. That's why you're stalling out a little bit, but it could break out today. You're still inside of this overall range. A Bitcoin or Ethereum could be a buy if this continues to hold as resistance. But back to gold, that's the reason gold's been getting killed, is because of the dollar. Here is the support level that you broke right there. That was your last support. You broke it last week. This week, you're getting downside continuation. Is there a place to be a buyer? No. You do have daily support here, but your order flow is uber bearish, right? So this, there's no reason to buy this. There's no divergence. That's a lower low than that low, so you don't have any divergence. Do you have divergence on the weekly? No. Well, you might get divergence on the weekly. If you close here or higher, you'll have bullish div on the weekly, but it's not going to be the greatest of signals. There's really nothing to do on gold. If you buy it here, you're just buying it because it's cheaper than it was 2 weeks ago, right? That's it. But you do have daily support there, to be fair. If it holds, maybe get long. Target a range high, 1677.30. All right? From here to up here. That's it. That's all you got. And it's just based off of daily support, nothing else. So your trade will look something like this. Just like that. And it's a 2-to-1 risk to reward back to the top side of this intraday range. All right, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. You guys have a fantastic day. If you had any question that I missed, I just didn't see it or whatever, you can ask it by just simply putting it in the comment section. I do read all of the comments, and I can answer it there. We will be live again tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. We'll probably go live about 1:45, 15 minutes before the minutes comes out, and I don't think we'll stream the conference or the press conference unless my internet holds up, but we will be trading live for the number, right, for the rate hike. So we'll be live tomorrow about 2:30ish or about 1:45ish, and we'll see you then. You guys have a fantastic day. As always, make sure you trade safe, make sure you trade smart, and happy trading, everybody.